out there so rich, be so rich, so y'all. This is the life I live.
Did you recognize the shooter?
Yes, sir.
Who was the shooter in that video?
Hakeem Robinson.
Your son, Hakeem Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Your verdict must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence and the law. I now instruct you not to communicate with anyone, including fellow jurors, about this case again. And no communication includes no emailing, text messaging, tweeting, blogging, or any other form of communication. You cannot do any research about the case or look up any words or information about this case. And if you become aware of any violation of these rules at all, you must please notify court personnel of the violation.
Clock in. Black Gotta just walked in. Team Black Gotta stand up, man. Yo, we back with another video. Ksoo. Young and Nate's close friend Ksoo has officially started trial. His real name is Hakeem Robinson, and he's facing charges in 2 separate murder cases. The 2020 killing of Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck, and the 2019 murder of Adrian Gaynor, which is well known as Lil Bibby, and Foolio's brother. A lot of people are really familiar with Lil Bibby because Ksoo had a huge habit of saying it everywhere he went. He even took it as far as rocking a jersey with Bibby on the back of it to represent this man passing away. Now we all know this ATK versus KTA thing had to been one of the most disrespectful things to touch the internet, and they just kept going tick for tack to the point where it made no sense, and it made a lot of people concerned. The amount of people who was affected by these beefs are insane, but the main people who's talking about the beefs are actually the people going through it heavy, and Ksoo is definitely one of them. Ksoo is accused of shooting Charles McCormick on January 12, 2020 at the Dames Point Plaza on Merrill Road. This incident is part of a larger gang war in Jacksonville. The trial is expected to start today with separate juries for Ksoo and his co-defendant Leroy Whitaker. Ksoo is also charged in the 2019 murder of Adrian Gaynor, which occurred at a Moncrief area apartment complex. He allegedly mocked Gaynor's death in social media posts, which is the main reason they gathered so much evidence of videos of Ksoo basically mocking Lil Bibby, and they're using it in this whole court case. Let's take a look at one video that's being used as evidence, and y'all let me know how y'all feel about the video.
And I'm outside. Hey, I'm in North Carolina. Go. So what? Ksoo make your face go. Hey, that nigga say they outside. Eat that bit. Outside. Eat that bit one time. Huh? Do that one shit. Eat that.
Not to mention, he made a lot of songs insinuating he may have something to do with what's been going on.
And we send his hour dirt beat. What's for Popo? That's AT. Stupid ass nigga. You better get caught slipping on that block, boy. Yeah, we waiting on you to slip. On 24. Ksoo on the drill, take off his neck. Boy, you better not try to run. We chase it, leave you stretch. Push it on the shirt, now we wonder who fucking next. Wet your ass up like some pussy, we leave you wet. Smoking on us, I them killers can't like they was vexed.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. The music wasn't even hard enough to drop. Like, that specific song, in my opinion, wasn't even hard enough to drop. But it's like, when you getting so much attention for being disrespectful, it's like you could damn near say anything and you just gonna drop it. I don't think them type of songs was the best type of songs to even drop, but as we can see, he kind of paying for it at this particular moment, and they're actually using these songs against him. And it's crazy how we steady say, oh, it's entertainment, they ain't gonna use it against me, this and that. They actually be using these songs against people, and it don't literally sit as strong evidence. But imagine a juror hearing this song after hearing you did something to somebody. You tell me what that juror gonna think. Do you think that juror is gonna believe, oh, this is just entertainment? Or are you gonna think, hold up now, the same person you talking about actually passed away? They gonna go to questioning if it is entertainment or not. But when it comes to this case in general, I guess Ksoo has been sticking to the code, and this code that they sticking to is what we call the street code that everybody hasn't even been following for real. Like, if you ask me, the code kind of switch up every other day. But one thing I can say is the way Ksoo reacted in the investigation room, he sort of reacted as if he's literally being charged for something he knows for a fact he had nothing to do with.
You know, as soon as all these young drops, so out there, so rich, be so rich, so y'all. This is the life I live. I'm going to keep it real.
Are you from Jacksonville?
I ask what I'm being down here for.
I'm gonna tell you that in just a second. Are you from Jacksonville?
I ask what I'm being down here for.
I'm gonna go over that with you in just a minute.
Tell me I got a search warrant. Bitch, I'm already in jail. How the hell I had a search warrant?
That right there pretty much sums up Ksoo's whole reaction to the charges, the search warrant that he got while he was in jail, and basically how he's been reacting throughout this whole process. And now we could see something different, but someone who automatically let it be known that they will be fully cooperating and actually willing to admit that Hakeem Robinson, which is Ksoo, was actually the shooter in the situation that happened with Lil Bibby. He even took it as far as pointing out the picture that they showed him and admitting that was actually Hakeem Robinson. And this person who's willing to do all of this is actually Ksoo's dad, Abdul Robinson Sr. His dad is willing to cut his time extremely short because he's actually arrested on charges similar to this too, and he's willing to testify against Ksoo to lighten his sentence. This is what he said.
Did you recognize the shooter?
Yes, sir.
Who was the shooter in that video?
Hakeem Robinson.
Your son, Hakeem Robinson.
Yes, sir.
And obviously he's your son, so you're very familiar with him.
Yes, sir.
You're familiar with his height and his build.
Yes, sir.
You're familiar with how he walks and runs.
Yes, sir.
You've seen him move in music videos.
Yes, sir.
Now, as y'all heard, you can hear Abdul saying that the person in the picture was Hakeem. But if you look at that video and you can sort of see Ksoo's attorney explaining how the height difference doesn't match, and how an eyewitness said that the shooter was thin and 5'10" or 5'11". Me personally, I really don't see the difference too much from 6'2" to 5'11", because like it probably will look the same way if you're not too far away. But an officer that chased him said that the shooter was slender and between 5'5" and 5'8". So the confusion in height could be a good defense, but when it's your dad on the stand saying it was you, man, that's something real difficult to overcome. But although this case is getting ready to start up, and I will for sure keep you guys updated on this case, Ksoo decided to make a post and share a message before trial began. He says, "Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for reminding me of who I really am. On the days I feel like I'm not enough, help me to see myself the way you see me." Your words in Galatians chapter 2 verse 20 says, "I have been crucified with Christ, no longer live, but Christ lives in me." That changes everything. I am not mistakes. I am not what others have said about me. I am yours. I am redeemed, chosen, and loved. Help me believe this today, especially when the devil tries to discourage me. I trust that you have my back and you're still working on me. I want to live today with confidence in who you created me to be. Thank you for everything. In Jesus' name, amen. That was a powerful message from Ksoo, man. And he decided to share a picture of him in court as well, with the title saying, "There is no saint without a past, nor sinner without a future. Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe. Do you wish to rise? Begin by descending. If you don't believe, you won't understand. If there are wolves within and there are sheep without, I love Scotty like no other, and I'm ready for trial in the morning. You could never understand. We putting a suit on and fighting for our life." So him sharing that picture of him along with his co-defendant Scotty in court and basically saying they ready to start this fight. All right, that's it we got for right now, man. But I'm gonna let you guys see the opening message from the judge to the jurors, basically giving them instructions on how to be jurors in this case.
Proceeding further, it may be helpful for you to understand how a trial is conducted. At the beginning of the trial, the attorneys will have an opportunity to, if they wish, to make an opening statement. And an opening statement gives the attorneys a chance to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during the trial. What the attorneys say is not evidence, and you are not to consider it as such. Following the opening statements, witnesses will be called to this witness stand in the middle of the courtroom to testify under oath. They will be examined and cross-examined by the attorneys, and documents and other exhibits may also be produced as evidence. After the evidence has been presented, the attorneys will have an opportunity to make their final arguments to you. And following those arguments by the attorneys, then the court will instruct you on the law that is applicable to this case. After those instructions are given, you will then retire to consider your verdict. You should not form any definite or fixed opinion on the merits of the case until you have heard all the evidence, the arguments of the attorneys, and the instructions on the law by the judge. Until that time, you should not discuss this case among yourselves. Your verdict must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence and the law. I now instruct you not to communicate with anyone, including fellow jurors, about this case again. And no communication includes no emailing, text messaging, tweeting, blogging, or any other form of communication. You cannot do any research about the case or look up any words or information about this case. And if you become aware of any violation of these rules at all, you must please notify court personnel of the violation. Now, during the course of the trial, the court will take recesses both during the day and, of course, overnight, and you will be permitted to separate and go about your personal affairs. During these recesses, you must not discuss this case with anyone, nor allow anyone to say anything to you or in your presence about the case. If anyone attempts to say anything to you or in your presence about the case, immediately leave that person and report the matter to one of my bailiffs, who will then notify me. If he or she persists, then likewise notify my bailiff, who will notify me. In addition, you cannot have any cell phones, tablets, laptops, or other electronic devices in this courtroom. You may use these devices during recesses, of course, but even then you must not use your cell phone or electronic device to find out any information about the case or to communicate with anyone about the case or the people involved in the case. Do not take photographs, video recordings, or audio recordings of the proceedings or of your fellow jurors. At the end of the case, while you are deliberating, you also must not communicate with anyone outside the jury room. If someone needs to reach you to contact you in an emergency, the court can receive messages and deliver them to you without delay. So if a contact phone number hasn't already been provided, we will do so before we leave this evening. Now, this case must be tried by you only on the evidence presented during your collective presence in this courtroom in front of the defendants, the attorneys, and the court. That means jurors must not conduct any investigation on their own. And this includes reading newspapers, watching television, using a computer, a cell phone, the internet, any electronic device, or any other means at all to get information related to this case or to the people and places involved in this case. And this applies whether you're at the courthouse, at home, or anywhere else. You must not visit places mentioned in the trial, or use the internet to look up maps or pictures to see any place discussed during the trial. What are the reasons for all these rules? These rules are imposed because jurors must decide the case without distraction and only on the evidence presented in the courtroom. If you investigate, research, or make inquiries on your own, The trial judge has no way to assure that the information you find is proper for this case.
All right, verse of the day. Make sure you put WVOTD in the comment section below if this is a verse you felt like you needed to hear. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 7. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins in accordance with the riches of God's grace.